Hello everyone, welcome back to our YouTube channel Third Eye Media. So these are the articles. So let us discuss about the current affairs or articles which are published in Hindu newspaper on April 7th. So the first topic on that particular day was CAA rules allow dual citizenship, pleas in Supreme Court. They argue that foreign applicants not having to renounce the citizenship of their native country while getting Indian citizenship will be directly violative of the Citizenship Act of 1955. The rules of the Citizenship Act do not require foreign applicants to effectively renounce the citizenship of their native country, creating a possibility for dual citizenship, which is directly violative of the Citizenship Act, petitioners have argued in the Supreme Court. Section 9 of the Citizenship Act of 1955 and Article 9 of the Constitution both clearly and explicitly prohibit the acquisition of dual citizenship. So here is the thing. The Supreme Court is scheduled to hear the pleas against the CAA and related rules on April 9. The petitioners say rules overlook the fact that effective renunciation of citizenship is a prerequisite for citizenship in cases where the nationality of another country is clearly attributable to the applicant. So it is saying that, for example, if a person is willing to take Indian citizenship, he should renounce the citizenship of any other country. They ask why only a selected group of migrants are eligible. They see fundamental flaw in claim that CAA and its rules will help persecuted minorities. We need to wait until the further result is or the further judgment is given by Supreme Court. All-weather road gives a strategic fillip to Ladakh. The latest feat of border roads organization in Ladakh, connecting Himachal Pradesh and Leh through the Nimmu Padam Darcha road, has come as a shot in the arm for security forces stationed in the region and added significantly to India's strategic depth in the hostile border neighborhood. So this is a very good achievement because in the recent times where even China is trying to claim Arunachal Pradesh, and it's trying to, and many other countries are trying to occupy most of the parts in Jammu and Kashmir. So Pakistan and China are eyeing to actually occupy back. Pakistan is trying to get back Jammu and Kashmir, and they are also having an eye on some of the parts of Aksai Chin as well as Arunachal Pradesh. So this is a very good thing, so that we could actually strategically protect our borders. The Nimmu Padam Darcha road allows surface movement from Leh to Lahore Spiti to the world's highest tunnel at Shinkula Pass at 16,550 feet, which is under construction. It will be the first all-weather road connecting Ladakh to the rest of the country, and officials said the tunnel is likely to be completed by 2025. So the tunnel is going to be completed by 2025, and it is an all-weather tunnel. Next, states offer thousands of hectares of degraded forest land for green credits. It's a very great initiative. First, understand the article. Weeks after the Union Environment Ministry announced the rules for its green credit program, 10 states have identified parcels of degraded forest land totaling about 3,853 hectares that will be available for individuals, groups, public and private sector units to earn and potentially trade green credits. Under the scheme, registered and approved entities can pay to finance afforestation projects in specific tracts of degraded forest and wasteland. The actual deforestation will be carried out by state forest departments. 2 years after planting and following an evaluation by the International Council of Forestry Research and Education, an autonomous body of the Environment Ministry, each planted tree could be worth 1 green credit. These green credits can be then be used by companies which have diverted forest land for non-forest purposes and raised thousands of trees to offset some of their obligations under India's compensatory afforestation laws. These laws oblige any industry or institution that is permitted to raise forest and use that land for non-forestry purposes to provide an equivalent amount of non-forest land to forest authorities and pay them to afforest that. Simple thing, for example, if a company is decided to keep a branch, or it is going to situate a setup or infrastructure at a particular place which shall come under forest, so they can take that particular forest area, but instead they need to provide a non-forest area to the government and also pay finance to that particular area so that they can go for afforestation. The afforestation will be carried out by the state officials. Nice scheme, right? Next, women defense scientists share their insights. India has a rich history of women scientists who have made significant contributions to the field of science. 2 such stars from the galaxy, Dr. Tessie Thomas and Kalpana Kalahasti were in Hyderabad on Friday. Ms. Thomas, also known as a Missile Woman of India and the Director General of Aeronautical Systems, So Miss Thomas is also known as Missile Woman of India. Full name Tessie Thomas is known as Missile Woman of India, and the former project director for Agni 4 missile in Defense Research and Development Organization, and Miss Kalahasti was the associate project director for Chandrayaan 3, the second in command for one of the most celebrated space missions in India. Very important personalities. Who are they? One is Messi Thomas, and another one is Kalpana Kalahasti. Translation app helped 6 Indians escape Russian war. So we all know that in the recent terms we have seen a lot of news with respect to this Russian-Ukraine war, in which we also got news that most of the Russian army, actually Russia is trying to use the students or the people who are actually migrating to that particular country for to wage war against Ukraine. So they are actually hiring our Indian citizens or Indian people to wage war in Ukraine. So what happened is a translation app developed by tech giant Google has helped 6 youth from Kerala narrowly escape from being recruited in Russia to be engaged in the war in Ukraine. So please properly read the documents before you sign it in any country, wherever country, whichever country you are going to, or you are going for higher studies, whatever the things it might be. So whenever you are signing any documents with respect to that particular country, please understand the format first, understand the rules, and then only keep your signature and give your assent to it. Next, India's PC market to double in 5 to 7 years. HP. India's personal computer market has been growing exponentially after the COVID-19 pandemic, and the total addressable market is expected to more than double in the next 5 to 7 years. Forecast Palo Alto based HP Inc. So HP company said this. As per IDC shared data, International Data Council shared data, 14.9 million PCs were sold in the country during calendar year 2023. So it's actually good news for software and tech companies, IT and tech companies. China may use AI generated content for its benefit as India, US go to the polls. Microsoft. So Microsoft is warning us, with major economies like India and US going to the polls this year, China is likely to use AI generated content to benefit its interests. US software major Microsoft has alleged in a blog. According to Microsoft findings, the chances of AI generated content by the China affecting election results will remain low, but continued experimentation, augmentation memes, etc. may prove effective down the line. Microsoft's threat intelligence reports had screenshots of AI generated videos in Mandarin and English, which alleged that US and India were responsible for unrest in Myanmar. So they are actually trying to spread fake news among citizens during this polls. So please be so India should be very careful when it comes to this sort of AI generated content. So let's understand this Kachativu. So I am just given some small part with respect to Kachativu, because in the recent remarks with respect to PM and External Affairs Minister Jaishankar, this is a hot topic of the day. So Kachativu is nothing but Kachativu is an uninhabited island spanning some 285 acres in Park Strait that separates Tamil Nadu and northern Sri Lanka. More precisely, it is located 14.5 kilometers south of Delft Island and about 16 kilometers to the northeast of Rameswaram. It is barren, has no drinking water or infrastructure except a sole Catholic structure dedicated to Saint Anthony. So what is the dispute all about? The dispute was over who owns Kachativu. Negotiations began in 1921 between British colonial governments of Madras and Ceylon, with both sides claiming territorial ownership. The matter was settled some 5 decades later after the governments of India and Sri Lanka under Prime Ministers Indira Gandhi and Sirimavo Bandaranaike signed 2 bilateral agreements in 1974 and 76. The governments agreed that Kachativu Falls was in Sri Lanka's territory and on a maritime boundary in the Gulf of Mannar and Bay of Bengal to define the 2 countries' exclusive economic zones. With the exclusive economic zones, India and Sri Lanka agreed to exercise sovereign rights over the living and non-living resources of their respective zone. The understanding was that fishing vessels and fishermen of India and Sri Lanka shall not fish in each other's waters, territorial sea and exclusive economic zone. However, despite the historic dispute over its territorial definition, fishermen from Tamil Nadu visit Kachativu every March along with their Tamil-speaking counterparts of northern Sri Lanka for the annual Saint Anthony's festival. The Indian fishermen do not require a passport to the a passport to visit the island in Sri Lankan territorial waters for this purpose, because the 1974 agreement expressly permitted them to access the island for rest, drying of nets and the festival, while prohibiting any fishing activity. So, from this I can say very clear that we should not, so we have already given this particular island to Sri Lanka. So, now the government should not again get back to this particular issue and making it a international issue. So, it is a local issue, so let it be a local issue itself. We should not make it an international headache for even Sri Lanka as well as India. So, that is all. These were the topics which I wanted to discuss with respect to April 7th. So, that is all. So, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe our channel. Thank you.